Hello and welcome to the Ryersonian podcast for the week of November 18th. I'm Erin Sally.
And I'm Alexandra Sanders. We're bringing you Ryerson's freshest news and the top stories of the week from across Canadian university campuses.
In this week's episode, you guessed it, we bring you updates from the ongoing Mayor Rob Ford scandal.
An update on the death of Ryerson grad Christopher Skinner, and termites are eating up Ryerson's theatre school.
Mr. Mayor, have you purchased illegal drugs in the last 2 years?
Yes, I have.
Yes, you heard that correctly. Mayor Rob Ford admitted to purchasing illegal drugs within the past 2 years during a city council meeting on Wednesday. His stunning admission came after probing from Councillor Denzel Minnan-Wong. That afternoon, Council passed a 5-part motion which called on Ford to apologize to Council, to cooperate with police investigations, and requested that Council forward the issue of the alleged drug use to the Integrity Commissioner. Ford's response to all of this?
Apologizing and saying sorry, you can only say that so many times. I really effed up, and that's it.
Councillor Jay Robinson read a petition signed by 30 of the 44 city councillors asking the mayor to resign, but Ford continues to say that he has no plans to leave office. The day ended with Councillor Giorgio Mammoliti, one of Ford's biggest allies, telling Council that he believes the mayor does in fact have a substance abuse problem. We will continue to follow this story for you next week.
But it's not just City Hall demanding repercussions for the mayor's actions. Safe Toronto organized their second protest on Wednesday demanding that Mayor Rob Ford step down. I was at City Hall to witness both protests over the last 2 weeks, and I saw that this past Wednesday had a much larger turnout. Could this have been because of the shocking admissions Ford has been making publicly? All I know is that I saw hundreds of angry citizens outside City Hall that were listening to many Safe Toronto speakers that were organized to engage the crowd. Again, messages were written on the pavement and City Hall walls. Homemade posters and boards with slogans were being thrown in the air, and even a Rob Ford casket made an appearance. This is what some of the protesters were saying.
I'm not a big fan of the mayor. I think he's made a huge laughing stock of Toronto.
And I feel like he's really shaming us around the world and really embarrassing, and he doesn't stand for what the people of Toronto stand for.
This has been going on for so long. We continuously rally and continuously saying the more he shows that he obviously needs to be usurped, why do we have to keep coming out?
I think he's a liar. I think the lying about the crack is just the tip of the iceberg. He tells people that he can build subways without raising their taxes. That's lies. It's ridiculous. The man is unfit to be mayor. This is my duty. I'm doing my duty. I brought my son, and I'm trying to explain to him how this is not okay and how it's important for us to have opinions and to voice them.
And as we promised, we will keep you updated with any information on upcoming protests and Rob Ford developments in the following week.
A man died Wednesday afternoon after police surrounded an armed suspect in the Sherbourne Street and Wellesley Street East area. Ontario's Special Investigations Unit is still looking into the incident and confirmed in a press release last week that a man was fatally shot at about 1:45 p.m. after police officers approached him. Emergency medical services confirmed the man was middle-aged and was pronounced dead at the scene with a gunshot wound. Toronto police got a call around noontime and chased the unwanted male on foot. The surrounding buildings were evacuated, and a local school was on lockdown during the chase.
And on campus, Ryerson's competitive dance team, the Urban Hip Hop Union, is finding itself short of space to rehearse for competitions. With the Ontario University's competition for hip hop coming up in less than 2 weeks, the team has not been able to secure a place to practice. While they would rather be in a more spacious studio, they're stuck between Kerr Hall West and the lower gym every Tuesday night. Part of the problem here is the bureaucratic dance with the Ryerson Student Union and the Recreation and Athletics Center. There is only one professional dance studio available. To book it, a form has to be filed to the RSU, who then contact the RAC to check for availability of space. Campus groups have suggested cutting the RSU out altogether in this process because they are too busy to address emails promptly. Plus, dance rehearsal without mirrors, where dancers can't see themselves, aren't too effective.
And now an update from overseas with the crisis in the Philippines. There are almost 4,000 confirmed deaths after Typhoon Haiyan, with more than 1,500 people still missing. Relief efforts are underway with priorities set on supplying enough food and water for the survivors. Back at home, Ryerson students are doing what they can to help. The Filipino-Canadian Association at Ryerson hosted a bake sale on Friday in the Student Campus Center, with all donations going to Sajip Migrante, an aid group working in the affected area. I got the chance to speak with the group's marketing director, Brian Sang, on Wednesday, and he explained how they came up with the idea to hold a bake sale.
It was sort of just a really quick way, we thought, with our food events here at Ryerson, we always do really well with selling Filipino desserts and treats, and so we thought that would be a great way of jumping straight in and kind of raising awareness for raising funds.
If you missed out last week, not to worry, you can still support FCAR during Filipino Awareness Week, which starts November 26th, and all funds will be going towards relief in the Philippines.
Aboriginal youth are struggling to go to universities in big cities. Many natives are having trouble getting funding from the government to be able to afford the living costs of going to universities in cities like Toronto. The Department of Aboriginal Affairs and Northern Development recently released a proposal for a First Nations Education Act. However, Aboriginal youth and education specialists believe that the government should address the lack of funding for post-secondary education. Government funding for primary and secondary education is available. However, it has not been adjusted to rising inflation and the continuous rise of living expenses since 1996. Patrick Madabi is Grant Council Chief of the Union of Ontario Indians. He spoke with our reporter Maria Asaf last week and explained that they have too many students who want post-secondary education, so they have to pick and choose who gets to go, which he says is wrong.
Every year, chiefs and councils and education counselors have to make a very agonizing decision. So if they've got 7 students that are ready for go to school and they only got funding for 5, they have to tell 2 students and their parents that we haven't got any funding for you this year. This happens right across the country.
Money is usually given to students who choose cheaper college programs and not the ones who want to apply to universities in bigger cities.
And out west, the University of Saskatchewan is calling for the retirement of school mascots and logos that depict First Nations people. The resolution states that the Department of Educational Foundations does not support the use of Indigenous people depicted in school mascots or logos in primary, secondary, and post-secondary schools. This resolution was passed almost unanimously on Friday. The school's department head explained that this is racism and that these representations of Indigenous peoples are false. Even though only one department from the school voted on this resolution so far, faculty are hoping that other departments will soon follow.
Back on campus, Ryerson's theatre school is bugged with termites. Apart from the building being old, a heavy rainstorm in July caused 3 rooms in the basement of the building to flood. While dealing with damages of the flood, the department has also been working to rid the old performing arts building of termites. The structural engineer recommended the school to implement a termite extermination program and an annual inspection. The problem is reoccurring, and Peter Fleming, the productions and operations manager at the theatre school, says he doesn't think it'll stop until the department gets a new building. For now, the school is trying to fix the problem with renovations. Carpenters are replacing damaged wood floors after the spraying, and there's a plan to put new moldings in walls and replacing door frames.
And we have an update now on the death of Christopher Skinner. 3 more arrests were made on Friday in the homicide case of the Ryerson graduate. Skinner was attacked and ran over by an SUV in October of 2009. The new arrests come only days after Toronto police arrested 23-year-old Augustine Caruso with second-degree murder. On Friday, 24-year-old Anthony Samuel was charged with obstructing police and conspiracy to commit indictable offense of aggravated assault. 23-year-old Nicholas Swaby was charged with assault, while Jamal Phillips Bond, who is also 23, faces charges of assault and obstructing police. All 4 men are from Toronto. Police spokesperson Wendy Drummond told the Ryersonian that the investigation is still ongoing and there is potential for more arrests in this case.
And finally, your sports update. Cassandra McNichol, Alex Armstrong, and Emma Crawley are 3 big reasons why Ryerson's women's hockey team has already surpassed the total number of wins from last year. Just like the Leafs, Coach Pierre Elaine has to decide who to start. According to Elaine, it's every coach's dream to have 3 great goalies. While McNichol, who started the season in early October, has the most experience, first-year student Armstrong is the youngest and continues to deliver solid performances, which is why she started in the second game. Crawley, who has been with the team for 3 years but missed much of the previous season because of a concussion, is also at Elaine's calling. Elaine says he is in no rush to declare his #1 goalie at this point and is comfortable with swapping them. And that's it for this week's Ryersonian Wrap-Up. I'm Alexandra Sanders.
And I'm Erin Sally. Tune in next Monday for more top stories from Ryerson and other Canadian University campus updates. Have a great week.